Hi everyone. In the last session, we see uh, by using MDC how we can propagate the correlation ID throughout the trade life cycle. So for that, what we do, we have created one filter, and in the filter we have a uh, configure create a on trace ID and correlation ID, trace ID, correlation ID. And that is same week, and that's the naming convention. Whatever you want to use, the correlation ID or trace ID. So we have a right on logic for creating the correlation ID, and that's we set it into MDC, and that's get MDC take care the part to propagate the thread correlation ID throughout the thread life cycle. So today now we'll talk about one library that is provided by Spring, that is micrometer. Micrometer uh, do the same thing that and that's provide more flexibility, and this is more compatible with the microservices architecture style. So in the MDC, we have to take care the part like propagating a correlation ID from one service to another service. So that's we have to write on logic there. If you're using the micrometer provide more flexibility. Just you need to add the dependency into the POM file, and here is no more any configure you have to do if you're using the micrometer. So here, what we have to do in the log pattern, just define it, the trace ID that is generated unique ID, the same. You can say this is something the correlation ID, and one more is a span ID. A span ID. This is get created. The scope of span ID will be the within the service, and the trace ID will be the throughout the uh, global, we can say. So like the service 1 calling to service 2, service 2 calling to service 3, the same trace ID will be propagated from one service to service, to service to 3 service, and this will be the same remain complete life cycle of the thread. So this is it, the difference of the correlation span ID and the trace ID. So here just we added the micrometer dependency and formed that file. And if you see in the application, we have not done anything more. And we have a controller, and that I kept one log. And now I'm hitting from the Postman, this API. I create one example get method, trace ID. So now I'm hitting, you can see the request get completed, and here we have a successful 200. And in the log you can see the correlation ID generated, and the span ID also generated. So if we have like multiple layer here from the service, if you have controller to service to maybe you hitting the other API, so on the same trace ID will be propagated, and span ID also will be the same within this service. So you can see the ID is generated. So now I am hitting again. uh, so you can see another trace ID generated, correlation ID and span ID. Yeah, that's it about the micrometer.